What's up? I'm Taylor. Today is Friday, the 27th of June.
We're in June already.
2025, and this is Good Ass Conversations. Today I got Mike Smack.
What's up, Taylor?
What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Chilling.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah. So, man, I know you through a mutual friend, and like I was introduced to you as a painter. But like I know now you do like ceramics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you do sign painting and mural painting. And I feel like a lot of people that I know, that you know you as like a mural painter and sign painter.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So like how would you describe like the mediums that you like to work in? Like what do you get into?
I have art ADD for sure. In the sense that like I want to know how everything is done, how everything is made, and then I want to try everything myself. But I also think that like painting was a pretty accessible way to get into art. It's a pretty low barrier. Like paint's pretty cheap, paper's kind of cheap. You can find walls if you're resourceful. And I think throughout the years of painting, and I still paint and I still like painting, but I've wanted to pursue concepts more three-dimensional or just with different materials. I could just stay in painting forever too, because you can go so deep in so many directions with that. But I do like going into three-dimensionals and having more, with ceramics specifically, more tactile, something you could feel. You could even close your eyes and feel a ceramic vessel and feel the artwork. So just different mediums that touch on different senses. But yeah, I think I'll always be a painter, and it seems like people know of my painting the most, which is cool too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Would you say like you're a very tactile person? Like when you're talking about like three-dimensional, it's like you're using your hands to talk. It's like, are you like feeling it in your mind to a certain degree? Like,
yeah, just the sensations, because painting, there's a brush between you and the artwork. Yeah. So granted, the brush or spray can become an extension of your body. Yeah. You know, when you get into that flow state. The ceramics, and even I've done some woodworking as well, which a lot of times there's a tool between your hand and the wood, but you often have to sand it and then go back and feel every groove and feel the grain with your hands. And maybe it's more intimate or something, that physical contact with the artwork itself. I guess painting, I do that too. Like if you get some texture to build up, I'll go back and like just feel it. I don't know if I'm a tactile person. I think I just want to continue pushing ways to explore expression and feel different phenomenons. Just many different perspectives in the human experience, and I'm trying to explore all of those. So really I would say like I am an artist, I'm a painter, but ultimately it's all because I think I'm an explorer. So I want to explore ideas, explore mediums, explore how people react to different artworks or ideas that come up through artworks. So yeah, I think art is just a good way of not only exploring but recording the exploration. Yeah. So you have something at the end that shows like I thought about this idea, or you know, I think a lot of my artworks I don't do it with an outcome in mind. Really? I create it more to discover things along the journey, so the final artwork is more proof of the journey rather than a predetermined outcome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I think you can do that with a lot of things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you ever like get to that state, or do you often have like, I want to create this thing and then I'll go make it?
Yeah, like so for me, it's like it varies, and it also depends on like who I'm hanging out with, you know, because it's like where I spend a lot of time right now. I feel like it has it so there is like a lack of clarity, and when everything is like cool or like I'm feeling, I want to use like the word stable, but I'm feeling like up and like my body and my spirits. I can imagine a feeling and then ride the feeling to a visual, and then that visual is a jumping off point. Or I can ride the feeling to an idea, and that idea is a jumping off point, and then I can just build off of that.
Okay, so like this feeling, and then you're like, how do I convey this visually somehow, and then now I have a thing, and now you can build up this thing and like really bring in details or more structure or whatever to convey this idea that started as a feel. I guess that's where ideas.
And it's like I'm trying to like invoke the feeling, because it's it's like I'll think about it cerebrally, or like, you know, sometimes I'm like, what would be something from the heart? You know, and I may not be like present in those areas, but then like I'll create a prompt for myself, and then I'll try and invoke the feeling I think would come about if I was enjoying it.
Okay.
And then ride that. That's one way.
Okay. Yeah. Ride that until you have something on paper, on something you can see that, and then you can develop that thing even more and hope that it reflects the initial feeling. Yeah. Okay.
There's that way, because like I feel like that is like a more like that's something I developed later in the process, but before initially it was just like the idea of it all being cathartic. You know, it's like I have things I don't understand going on, and then I would just make the art to understand the things. And then it got to a point where it's like, yo, like I'm feeling good, you know, and I don't have a lot of like I've handled a lot of my stuff, so it's like now I have like room to play. And then it's just like, oh well, it's like I understand how to like tune myself like a radio, you know, and it's like when I tune myself like a radio, I can like imagine like the feeling. But there was like a book when I was growing up, because my parents are artists, and they had like a big art book collection. And there's this photographer, and he made this book. I can't remember his name most of the time, but the title of his book was called "The Journey is the Destination."
Wow, I feel that exact same way.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta find this book.
And then when I because to me it's like I went through art school, but I went to community college first, and for me like community college was like undergrad to a lot of people, and then when I went to university, that felt like graduate school. But like when I finished community college, I understood the book in terms of like, oh, it's like focus more on process instead of, you know, like putting all of the expectation on the end result.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that all the expectation on the result adds stress to the process.
For sure.
And for me, don't get me wrong, like there are plenty of artists that might know the outcome they want to get to, and they can reach exactly that outcome, and I'm sure there's something satisfying about that. But for me, and like the title of that book, I like the discovery along the way. I don't want to know exactly what it's going to look like, because it's like knowing the end of the book before you start reading it. Like you could still, I suppose, enjoy the book along the way, but if you know what it's going to be in the end, it kind of takes away a lot of the joy of discovering along the way. Do you think that's like earlier before we started recording, we were talking about cleaning and how that's a good way to just do something with your hands while you can process things in your mind. Do you think that art was similar when you first
for
started?
sure.
Yeah.
It was the thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was the thing.
Give your hands something to do so your mind can think deeper on problems or emotions or whatever. Yeah.
That's why it was so dope to me, like in the beginning, because it's like I was really sorting out a lot of like my life stuff. But then, you know, it's just like it also got to a point where I would sort of focus on the imperfections, you know, like in myself and the art. You know, and then like inferiority complex type stuff.
Like comparing yourself to other art.
Yeah,
artists,
and you know,
artworks.
sometimes it wasn't even about the art. It would be about other stuff in my life. And not until recently have I realized it's like, oh, that was just like a block that, you know, I didn't have the perspective to work on or just like let it go. You know, it's like.
Do you think art-wise you have reached a point where you think about that a lot less? Like a lot less comparative or like feel inferiority, not care about it as much?
Well, to me, it's like, I know now it's like, yo, if I just put in the work, you know, I think my thing is like, I just feel like so much built up of other kinds of things I don't understand. And like, since art is typically the way I process those things, it's like, it makes me want to like dump a lot of time into the art, but then I have like responsibilities and not everything in my life is set up so that it revolves around the art, you know, so it's not structured to get to the art first, you know, it's actually like I'm getting to the art last, or I'm getting to the art in pockets. And
maybe that's good in a sense, because it's the art is still your release, your or escape, or the thing you look forward to after you do all the responsible stuff. I think, you know, now that we say this out loud, I think that's part of the reason that I switch mediums a lot.
Oh, bro.
Because if I were just painting murals as my job, as a career, and that's how I had to pay my rent and put food on my table all the time, I think it would put more pressure on it and take away a lot of the joy. Granted, maybe I could still, I don't know, maybe you could still find ways to, in the actual process of the painting, if you're painting what you want or creating the art that you want, maybe it wouldn't take away that, but I think, now that we say this, I think that's part of the reason why I dabble in a lot of different mediums, so there's not so much pressure on one, and I can not give a shit as much. That's where it becomes play. When you get in that play state. I think that's the whole beauty of practicing art as an adult, is it can return you to the state of childlike play, and that's
it can,
freedom at its utmost, the highest level you can get.
Well, I think like I think it also depends on like how you explore ideas and like how you define art, you know? Because I mean, I realize that too, and it's like, oh, like I'm trying to get back there, and now it's just like letting go some stuff I've picked up along the way. You know?
To get back there. Unlearn some things, or like not care about some things that someone told you should care about, or put so much energy into.
Well, I think, like you said, I was talking about this with the homies, like, you know, exploration of the mediums is infinite.
Wait, say it again?
Exploration of the mediums is infinite.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, for sure.
And you can spend like a whole lifetime just like, you know, zoning in on one or something, like one or two or three.
Yeah. You can, and even then it's probably endless, the possibilities. And I also think along with that, like as I learn different mediums, for you too, because you work in multiple mediums.
Yeah, for sure.
And as you combine those mediums, in a way, you're almost creating a whole nother medium, or at least a whole nother style. And I have this theory that if you're the first one to create this style, you're automatically the best one at it. So you're automatically the master. You're also the worst one at it, but if you're the only one doing it, then you're at the top of that game. So if you invented the game for a time, for a period, you're going to be the Hall of Famer, the first one in the Hall of Fame within that medium or within that style.
I rock with that. I like that.
So that's how I justify, like, not trying to be an expert in just one medium.
Yeah.
Because that would take a lifetime, and then it's subjective. Like, I'm the greatest painter that ever lived after, or in this time period, or in this style. Like, you can never really like quantify how to be the greatest or something. And not that I do it to be the greatest, but it is cool to be like, oh, I'm the best one at this style because I invented it.
Yeah. I was listening to someone talk about, like, you know, when someone is like expert level at like a particular medium or skill or game, you know, it's like how they make it look so effortless or easy. But then, you know, they may not be as skilled as something else.
Yeah, where they look like a klutz doing something else. I heard this word. It's called sprezzatura. It's an old Italian word, and it means basically that. It means mastery of something. I might be butchering it a little bit, but it basically means mastery of something to the point that it looks like it's effortless. So you have a style. I think I read it, and it was applied to surfing.
Cool.
But like a style so mastered that it looks like it's easy and you're not trying hard. But anybody probably is trying hard or has tried hard for years and years to make it look like you're not trying hard anymore. Sprezzatura.
Have you like surfed like in Italy or anything like that?
No, I just read that, I think, in a surf magazine.
Oh, cool.
There's some waves in Italy from what I hear, but I haven't surfed there yet. Surfed a bunch of other places, but it's on my list, high on my list. Surf trip, pizza research, art research.
Yeah.
There's the Dolomites, the mountains are good for mountain biking.
Cool.
It's up there on my list.
So you get off into like surfing and mountain biking too?
Oh yeah, and I think that's now in the past maybe couple years, I'm more realizing that is very much so, like it shows through in my artwork. Not because I intended to, like I don't go surf and then think about like how am I going to make an art project about this feeling of surfing, or I don't go ride on a bike. I do this because it feels good, because it's fucking awesome. It's healthy. I feel great afterwards, and I think that moving your body in that sense, exercise or just getting outside and moving your body, both of those I think lead to more creativity.
I think so too.
They activate your mind in ways that you couldn't activate otherwise. And then so being that both of those are outdoor activities, you're amongst nature, especially if you're trying to find like a surf break to yourself in a far off place, or a mountain bike trail that takes you deep into the back country. You're far away from humans, and you really start to pay attention to the details of the flora around you, and maybe if you see some animals. But I really end up studying the flora, the way that plants grow so perfectly imperfect. So like unstructured, but there's a system to it. And I think now, maybe that's always been, maybe it's been longer than a couple years that's been coming through in my artwork, but I think now I'm making those connections, like, oh, this thing I made definitely looks like some leaves, or like has that style to it. I don't really know how you could ignore nature in art.
Oh yeah.
I guess the opposite would be like just geometric pattern, but even patterns show up in nature.
Geometry is so prevalent in nature, and fractals and mathematical equations
absolutely.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know how. So I think even subconsciously, we're all, anybody making art is maybe it's our way of like finding the true spirit, like within ourselves, that's also within the earth, within all the living things, like getting to the core of that spirit. Maybe that's part of the reason we pursue art, or where we get in touch with those things.
Like touching on essence of things and stuff like that?
Maybe, yeah. Do you find anything outside of art that you like? Do you ever create anything and then look at it and go, oh, I know where I got this idea from, but maybe you didn't know it in the time of creation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But after it's there in front of you, you go like, oh, that's probably comes from this.
Absolutely.
Is any of it nature related?
Yeah, it's like honestly, like a lot of my clothing designs come from nature.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then like the conversation of nature versus, I like industrial sort of textures. So like the conversation or dialogue between nature and man-made structures.
Yes.
And like I didn't realize this, but like there's like in my mind, like a big relationship between architecture and clothing. And architecture, is like at this point man-made. And I don't know that it's always, I don't think typical architecture is like nature inspired. It seems very like this is the antithesis to nature.
Yeah.
It's
so
like
man likes straight lines and 90-degree angles, and nature likes curves and maybe a little bit less predictability. So yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. I'm always examining those contrasts.
Well, it's like there's this point where I was making sculptures with this dude when I was in community college, and we were making like outdoor spaces, and we had this instructor. He was a really cool dude, Nick, shout out, and he would talk about liminal space. And
liminal?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck is liminal space?
Yeah, what is that? Tell me.
And I can't break it down in like a concrete definition right now. But it's sort of like this experience that you have as like, it's like, I don't want to say it's like a visceral experience that you have of traversing different kinds of spaces with your body. But it's along those terms. It's like the spatial, what is like your consciousness's, what is your body's recognition of a spatial area?
Okay. And then how can you build a space to invoke certain feelings that a person would feel a certain way or something like that? Is that the idea, like how you apply it to architecture?
I think because it doesn't have to be like architecture, but I mean that's the easiest access point for me.
Yeah,
because it's like like looking at like old churches and stuff like that. Like old Catholic churches, like those are designed to evoke a particular kind of experience from just being in space.
Right.
And then like you go into like older architecture in like America, like Grand Central Station and stuff like that, you know, like it evokes like a different kind of spatial relationship, because it's like, how often are you in rooms that have giant ceilings?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like your body feels different in like spaces that are designed to be different ways.
Right.
And me and my homie, we're just like, we don't know shit about this. You know, it's like, what does it feel like when we're just in this building? You know, like we would go into medical buildings and be like, yo, like, what does this feel like? And just sort of like brainstorm about like what we were feeling through our bodies. And then we go into like the woods and then be like, well, what's this spot in the woods make us feel like? You know, just like, we don't know shit about this, so it's just like we're just shooting this shit, trying to like put into words like something we've never really paid attention to before.
Right. So did you like take notes about this? Or,
Yeah,
like,
and like we made sculptures and stuff like that, where it was sort of like what's the word, where it's like you're making pieces for specific sites.
Like site specific?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're making like site-specific type stuff, and it's really dope. You know, it's like,
So these are things like like a sculpture, or this is like an immersive thing?
yeah, there would be like sculptures, like so, like one project we did, we made like these rock wells, and then it was fall, so it's like we made these different rock wells, and then we put like lights in the bottom of them so they would glow at night. But then it was fall and there was different colored leaves, so we took all the leaves and we raked them up, and then we made a gradient of the leaves.
Sick.
So it's like if you were just walking through the forest near this part of town, like you just find this part where it's just like, oh, the leaves are like separated into a gradient.
Yeah.
It's like abnormal. This
Yeah,
spot is
like,
raised.
Did nature do this?
Yeah,
Or
and
did
if you
people
came
do
back
this?
at night, the lights were solar powered, so it's like the wells would glow.
Oh,
So
right.
it's just like, oh, this is cool, like a hidden spot, you know, or something like that.
I love that. I also love the idea of just putting something out there that people stumble upon, that they
Yeah.
discover along the way on their own.
Because we both rocked with the idea of exploration, and like at the time I was like documenting graffiti in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you just like follow graffiti and you end up in this really unique spot. And it's like only graffiti artists come here and hang out. And I'm like, this is really cool. This is like a spot in the tuck, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, how could you recreate this, but like in different ways?
And was that was for class, or y'all just did it?
That was for class.
Okay. So these like immersive kind of sculptural things you did. What would you do? Take photos and then have a report about it or something?
No,
or
I mean, like, with that, we got our instructor and stuff like that and some of our classmates, and we went and did a critique.
They
like,
physically went to the space?
Yeah.
Oh, sick, okay.
And then, we took pictures and videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was just different being there versus...
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
Just like looking at something on your phone and actually looking at it with your eyeballs.
Because then it becomes about the videography and the photography.
You're right.
Instead of like the visceral experience of the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to have a different skill set to be able to translate what you're experiencing into those mediums.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think also with photography and videography, half of that art half of it is about what you're showing, what's in the square or the whatever rectangle it is, but also half of it is what you choose to not show.
Yep.
So I think that's huge, like the way you crop something or frame something,
Like how you curate.
yeah. What you're not showing really can really shift the vibe entirely. But then when you get to experience those spaces in the physical and you see everything for your eyeballs, like that's when you get the realest truth there. I also think that, back to the nature point, just of being in natural spaces, now in our age of information, where we have information about every little thing, more information than we probably need. But we all want to know everything. It gets hard to discern like truth, what's true and what's not. But I think the most true thing is just nature, because nature doesn't have an agenda or doesn't need to like sway anybody's opinions. And when you get out there into those spaces, you don't think about why this tree is growing that. Oh, maybe you do think about it.
I think about those kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's like it's not like an ulterior motive to any of the information you're receiving. It's all just like, I see the branch, the tree is leaning that way because that's where the sun is shining on it the most. It's not like, maybe the tree is leaning that way because it's trying to tell me something else or something else. I think it's just the most pure form of information. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. It's the most, these days is the most pure information. You don't have to think about where it came from or who said it or the way it was written or whatever. It's just there because that's how it grows and lives and operates and continues on. So I think, I think going forward, I'm leaning more into integrating the nature into my artwork, as well as using art as a reason to get out into nature for research purposes, and then bring this information back, or information/inspiration back, and then create something, or knowing that that's going to influence whatever the next creation is. Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, I think it's cool when you realize these things, but like we were saying earlier, sometimes you have to put it out in front of you and then look at it, put it on paper, something to look at, and then examine, that's why I did this.
You got to look at it through like a prism.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you see the clear light, but you don't realize that it's made up of all this.
Right, all the colors. Yeah, I think that shifts for me over the years too. I mean, I guess I would say I've been practicing art for 20 some years, off and on. Not off and on, always on, but sometimes harder, more in-depth focus, and sometimes just like on the side or like along the way kind of thing. But it's cool to like see in your own evolution, if you can examine like, this is how not only has my style changed, but this is why it has changed. Like more nature influence, or in the past maybe I was more trying to mimic other styles of things that I like to see and combine those. But I think early on that's how you find a style, it's an amalgamation of all the other art that you appreciate, and you put it into your own. And I think if you continue to do that over and over, then your style comes through. Have you found like, if you look back on your earlier stuff, do you think that, would you link it to certain art that you've seen? Like, this was kind of inspired by this genre or this artist?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever like sat down and just like really tried to emulate my favorite artists, like to the point where it's like clear to anyone in
right
work.
Like you're trying to copy this exact artist.
I think I've typically like never like followed through enough for that to show up. I think I feel like it would be harder for if people were like going through my work, I don't know that they would like see what it is.
Do you think that's because it's a combination of many different inspirations?
Yeah, and also just because I've gone through different mediums.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't really talk about it that much, but it's really been a continuation of ideas since like the inception of doing fine art.
Huh.
So it's like,
Same ideas or?
yeah, like exploration of the same ideas.
Huh.
And sometimes it's sort of like frustrating because it's like, there's certain mediums where it's like, oh yeah, like I really want to get back to those ideas that like I wanted to explore back then. But part of it is like not having the gear or the space.
Ah, yeah.
So like it's been experimenting with space and gear, and then also learning to let go of gear, and also learning to let go of space, and really just like understanding if I can just take up the space within myself, like that's all the space I need besides like a table.
Right. Work with what's in front of you.
Yeah. Like I was talking with my homie last night, and I was talking about gear and stuff like that, and he's like, yo, like I just adopted like this mindset. It's like I have everything I need to make whatever I want. And then the idea that with time, and sometimes that's a short amount of time, that's a longer amount of time, he attracts all the materials that he needs to complete any project that he's like setting his mind to. It's like, you right, bro, like I'm over here trying to figure out like loadouts and like rigs and shit like that, and it's just like I just need to focus on the ideas. And it's like, you know, taking it step by step with any of the ideas. But I know for me, sometimes like I don't get excited about the thing until like I can have something in my hands. Like it's hard for me to continue the excitement for clothing when I'm not producing the final piece in my hands and I can like hold it.
Like when it's still just a concept or just a...
Yeah, when clothing is just like a drawing or like a mock-up or something like that, it's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like having it in my hands like gives me that tingle like in my brain.
Okay.
You know, it's like seeing someone wear it and they're like, this is, you know, interesting, or like this sucks, or this is cool. Like then I'm like, oh yeah, nice. Like there's something about the tangibility. I think it's always been that way with art for me. Like I'm a tactile person.
Yeah.
And like being able to touch it.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
like I'm like, okay, like now it's becoming real.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about that before last Saturday when we were doing that thing. Yeah, just the different ways. Yeah, tactile senses are so many. Even just if that was your only sense that you focused on, there's so many different feelings of touch you can experience.
Mm-hmm.
But to get there, you have to start visually.
No, because it's like I'm definitely like a visual person. But it's like I think tactile just comes natural to me.
So do you ever have do you ever like touch something, feel it, and go, oh, I want to make something that feels like this? Like, does it ever start inspiration-wise, start from a tactile sense?
I don't know. It's like I can say though that like that's why I really got into wood carving or like relief printing.
Yeah.
Because I could just carve it out and it was all like tactile. You know, it's like the combination. It was like one of the first times where like my visual like made a bridge with like tactile.
Oh.
And then I'm like, you know, I'd set up the drawing and stuff like that, set up the design, and then just like going into like this different mode, like switching hats. And I was just like, oh yeah, like this is a part of me that's like very predominant, and like I can understand things through this sense a lot of the time. But it's like, in what instances can I use this sense?
Yeah.
You know,
and convey this feeling, this tactile feeling to other people. Yeah.
That, or just like just being able to use the sense. You know, it's like it's like sometimes you shake someone's hand and then you just know some shit about them or something like that.
You get the dead fish, or you get the sweaty palm. Yeah.
It's like, how often do you get to use your hands and like, you get information.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Or you convey information.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like we don't handwrite a lot.
Right.
In communication between people. We type and stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's just like, how often do you get to use like your tactile senses in like business or like operating in the world and stuff like that?
That's tricky, yeah. Yeah, I mean, humans are so visual. I mean, that's the first sense we use in almost every situation.
Yeah.
That's like our most go-to sense. But it's really cool to explore how you can touch other senses.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's super interesting to talk to other creatives and see like what their predominant senses out of the basic 5 senses, you know?
Well, I think it would mostly be visual, but
well, it's like musicians, you know, it's like...
Oh, true, yeah.
It's like they can hear shit.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is not visual at all either.
Like, people are good at singing, it's like they can hit certain sounds.
Yeah.
You know, this like, it's beyond me. You know?
I wonder if there's any smell artists.
For sure.
I guess that would be
colognes,
perfume, yeah.
There's like a word for it, right? Like perfumier or some shit like that.
Oh, isn't that what you call somebody that makes perfumes?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
there's like
something.
a word. Yeah.
And then what would it be? What sensory method? Oh, hearing. That's hearing, music. So visual, smell, touch. Oh, taste. Chefs. Yeah. Yes. Smell and touch seem like they're the least touched upon in art. In the art world.
But it's just like, I think they're like, all of them are useful. Because it's like you're talking about like nature and getting information and like conveying information. Like all of those things give you so much information just in day-to-day life.
Oh, definitely.
And based on like how you're operating, you're either like tapped into certain ones or you're not. Or maybe you have all of them going on, you know? Like,
that would be, I've thought about this often when I think about doing art shows. And
really?
Is there a way I could do an art show that really engages, not just touches on, like engages each of the senses?
That would be cool, man.
Like what if you stepped into this room that was dark and there was a smell immediately. You don't see anything, but you smell something, whether it's good or bad, or the smell like makes you, what do they say, that smell triggers memory too. And then it's still dark, but you gotta like feel around to know like, how big is this room? What does this space feel like? What's in here? Are the walls fuzzy, or are they spiky? Is this stone? Is this whatever? And then I feel like I would want to like save the visual part for the last, because that's usually the opposite. We step in somewhere and we survey the surroundings visually the most. So maybe do like smell and then touch. I don't know, how can you get taste in there without turning the lights on?
Well, it's like, I think it's sort of like an art show. It's like you're curating an experience.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, some of the things you do, people don't notice unless you're like a event manager or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you got a DJ and it's like, what is the DJ spinning? Or it's like you got a playlist. It's like, what kind of stuff are you jamming? It's like you're serving drinks. Like, are they alcoholic, non-alcoholic?
Yes,
you
it's
got
the
snacks.
ambiance.
Yeah, ambiance. It's like, how are you crafting ambiance? And to what effect? You know, like some people craft it so they can grease the wheel so they can sell paintings. But it's like, if you have the intention of like the ambiance is part of the art experience, but you're like trying to take them in different directions. Maybe it's just an exploration.
Right.
And you don't even have to like put it on blast.
Sensory exploration. Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. I did this event, I do it every year. It's called Change Your Mind Festival.
Oh, cool.
It's put on by this charity called Interfaith Community Services. And I think the first year, I think they've done it 4 years now. Anyway, the first one, Usually I don't get that much time to walk around because I have my own little setup where I let people come and throw paint. Literally just throw paint at the wall. You're not painting something, you're just getting it out there. People love it. But the first year I did get some time to walk around, and they had sensory stations. So one of them was you go and like put your hands in these boxes and you don't know what's inside the box, but it might be like a fuzzy stuffed animal. It might be a bunch of marbles or something like that. And they had each different station touched on different senses. So that was pretty, I guess that kind of is what we were talking about, and they had that going on.
It reminds me of like Halloween parties as like a kid or something like that. It's like, what is this? It's eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think when we talk about art, like, it's visual first, in people's minds at least. And if someone asks me, are you an artist? Yes, I think I am. I think it can be a very broad term, but we assume you do something visually. But it's really cool to combine those senses, like your clothing too, where you have that you're wearing the art, so you look cool visually, but also the way you feel, your skin feels, the way your body feels with that artwork on you is a whole nother layer of it.
I really try to think about, I'm not a master of this, and also it's like you have to do a lot of exploration of materials. So it's like different things are going to feel different for different people, but I do want to really craft an experience of wearing it and feeling different kinds of ways, positive. And it's like I've explored certain ideas, like when people were first making clothes, it's like, to me, it's like, what were they doing? It's like, a lot of it was coming from animals. And
I see what you mean, like when clothes were invented.
And it's like, you put on the animal, do you like feel like the essence of the animal? So it's like, how can I replicate some of those ideas just in plastisol screen printing and stuff like that? So like I was making like hoodies that had like snake skin on them, but I was like printing extra thick, so it's like the texture of the snakeskin was like when you rubbed your hand over it, it's like you could feel the difference between the print and the material underneath.
Okay, so it was like, felt like snakeskin?
It was like, no, it felt like some rubber thing, but it's like it was an interesting tactile experience that felt cool, and then like you felt a certain way like when you had it on and stuff like that. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I just wanted to keep exploring that more and more. But then I noticed that like I would come up against like roadblocks or obstacles, and
on how to take this idea from concept to physical.
How to keep exploring it. It's like, I think part of it is just like with clothing, it's so easy to burn through money. So it's like I got tired of burning through money. And then another thing is like I don't think I was doing enough research. Like it would have been cool to go explore different kinds of animals and see how they're used as like materials. Like
I was gonna ask you that. Have you ever thought about like getting some pelts or something?
Like people were saying it's like, hey, you should do this, but I was just like, it's like I don't have, in my mind it's like I don't have the resources. Instead of, I think now I have to remind myself, it's like, don't focus on you don't have the resources, focus on the I'm gonna get the resources, focus on the journey.
Right, like you're saying before, like the idea, like just keep pushing that idea and the resources will find you or find the idea.
Exactly. Like don't limit yourself by saying like I don't have the resources. It's like focus on developing the idea. is what I had to remind myself often.
Yeah.
And I think when I was like exploring those ideas back in the day, it's like I didn't have that advice at the time.
So you think there's ideas that you just let die because you thought you didn't have the resources?
Yeah, there's ideas that I just like let go, because it's just like, yeah, I don't have the resources. So, and then also like, I think I do believe in the idea of like, almost like an idea plane, or like an idea dimension, or like a source of ideas, or different ways of getting ideas.
Yeah.
And like in fashion, I feel like, a lot of people are exploring those ideas. So like when I let go of the thread, I was starting to see other people explore those ideas like a year or two later. So I'm like, I don't need to explore it. Like someone else is like running those territories.
Like they found this idea from the same plane that you were on at the time.
From whatever space I got those ideas from.
Yeah.
I feel like someone else got those ideas probably at the same time.
Yeah.
And like they were running with them. And I think that's cool. Like,
I think there's something to that. Have you read Rick Rubin's book?
Yeah.
And he talks about there's basically like a flow of ideas, and it's not that you have, if you ever feel stagnant or reach an artist block, it's not that there's a block because ideas aren't coming to you. It's that there's something holding you back from tapping into that flow. Like that flow of ideas it's always out there. It's just a matter of you putting yourself in the mindset to tap into that. So I feel like there's something to that, like just a flow, and it's like always there. It's just a matter of making yourself open to receive it, I think.
Yeah. And I realized like in talking with people, it's like I'll get down on myself when I don't feel like I'm like putting in enough work on art. Like it's like a plant I'm like not taking care of or something.
That's a good analogy. I like that. Yeah.
But I was talking with my homegirl Edna, and it's like the idea of like living is art, And it's like the same concept of like ideas. It can be applied to other areas of your life. It's like money or like relationships.
Yeah.
Learning how to take the actions to unblock yourself. So it's like you can tap into the flow of those things for yourself.
Yeah, I think that each of our lives is a giant art piece in a sense, in the way you build it and create it and work with what's in front of you, as well as work without the things that you think you may or may not need, shape the outcome of it. No, I've had that thought before as well, and I like that concept. So that's why I also think that anybody is an artist.
I think everybody's creative. Like
yeah,
everyone is an artist.
So like an artist is such a broad term if you think of it from this sense, where commonly it's thought of like an artist is somebody that a lot of people think a painter right away. That makes something that's going to be hung in a gallery and but I think ultimately everybody is an artist, and all processes are artistic in a way.
Well, that's how I like sort of like to refer to it as like being creative. It's like everybody's creative and everybody can apply their creativity to different things.
Yeah.
And that's how I like just have like this small distinction for myself. So it's like in regular conversations, like, oh yeah, like I like to participate as being like a craftsman, or like, like these are the things I like to do, like the mediums I like to work in.
Yeah.
And it's like, as far as our language goes, or like English goes, it's like, yeah, I'm an artist. But it'd be cool if there's more words.
Right, to be a little more distinguishing, a little more specific. Yeah, I've had this conversation about difference between artists and craftsmen as well. And like I know some people that are like, no, what I do is more of a craft because I'm following a way that was taught to me, and I'm not like coming up with new ideas. That's the way that somebody has kind of distinguished it to me before. But I think even in craftsmanship, there's little nuances and manners that you create that if you make it your own, I don't know, I think it's art. But yeah, I don't know, such a vague word. Like you're saying, if the English language had a few more words to distinguish these things.
Well, I think I was talking about this with like Dave and Marcos. I don't know, David and Marcos. It's like I know screen printing, and you know, screen printing is like a technical thing.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a creative craft or creative skill set. But in the execution of it, it's like you're not necessarily generating ideas. You know, you're just executing. And there's like a lot of nuance to it. But it's a way in which like you don't have to be creative to like execute and create the product.
Right. Yeah, if someone showed you this method. Yeah, maybe it's more like methods versus creativity.
Well, it's like technique is how I sort of think about it. Because like I'll get caught up on technical stuff.
Yeah.
Because like there's that part of me that likes some of the technical stuff. And I think sometimes that in itself, like focusing on that, creates like a situation where I'm disconnected from this being playful, because I'm like hung up on the technical aspects, because I'm trying to achieve something through the technical methods. Yeah,
and that's more, you kind of have to adhere to this method to.
Yeah, or you're trying to stretch the method.
I think they're both worthy pursuits, and
yeah, for sure.
Both of them again take you back to the place where maybe that's what flow state is, like where your body is in action and your mind can kind of wander. You can like go deeper into your own mind while your hands have something to do. I think, yeah, craftsmanship, art, whatever. I think all of those, give your body a task while your mind can kind of be half focused on the task, but also get deeper into other things.
Well, it's like, I think like art can be whatever you make it, and like creativity can be, you know, whatever you make it. And I think there can be similar or compared to meditation, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And meditation can also be whatever you want to make it.
Sure.
It's like, you know, a lot of people champion, you know, certain things within meditation, even if it doesn't seem like it's being championed, you know, like touching into nothingness, or like no being, you know, which are sort of like vague terms, but once you start to like get into meditation, you sort of understand what they're talking about. It's like, but then you can do other stuff in meditation too, but I don't know that that's necessarily what's championed a lot of the time, or like put at the forefront.
Yeah.
It's like you could turn meditation into whatever. I think like,
or you can meditate by other means, like we were saying before, other than just sitting down and doing breath work. I think other things can be meditative, at least. Maybe we should look at it from the other side. What is not art?
Like, I feel like it's a harder question to answer.
Yeah.
I think that's like a hard ass question. Like,
I think it's, let's see.
Because like, you know, I think I was watching, like, this is like a long ramble, but like I was watching Planet Earth with like an old ex-girlfriend, I was like smoking weed or whatever.
Hell yeah, that sounds like a good time to me.
And she was like passed out. And like,
and you're geeking out on the monkeys or something.
no, they were like doing the trees, and it's like it was the first time I noticed like fractals in nature and stuff like that.
Oh.
And I was like, yo, like there's like design in nature. And I was like, that's fucking cool. And you know, like I had like a math background, like a math and science background before. You know, I'd seen that, and I wasn't really making like fine art. I was doing creative stuff, but
Okay.
you know, and there's something about seeing like patterns in nature that like connected me to like spirituality and stuff like that. So like to me, like there's like a relationship or correlation between like creativity and spirituality. And since it's almost like so much of the world around us is like created either by man or by nature, you know, it's just like I see art everywhere. Like when
For
I
sure.
talk to people about, you know, now
What if
go ahead.
does art have to be you can create it and you can consume it?
Oh yeah.
I guess what I was getting at is like, if we're trying to figure out what is not art, what if you're
What do you think, like the news?
yeah, I guess like that. Like, what if you're only consuming without, I don't know, thinking creatively? Like, I think you can consume art and interpret it how you want or think creatively through that. But maybe what is the opposite of that would be just
The
consuming
antithesis?
and accepting what's put in front of you without any freedom of thought or
Yeah, like I make parallels to like art, like being creative or making art like food.
yeah
And then you're talking about consumption. I
Yeah.
feel like when you think about consumption, you think about food.
yeah
And there's certain things where it's like you notice how different kinds of foods make you feel. And like some people, it's like they don't care, but maybe
yeah
they're just like operating on a level where it's like it doesn't matter to them. And you know, it's easy to have judgments about that, but that's okay too. But
yeah
I know for myself, like consuming certain things makes me feel alive.
for sure.
It makes me feel more present. And then there's certain things that like make me feel numbed out.
Yeah
Yeah. And I feel like certain kinds of news make me feel numbed out. And sometimes it's like insidious, you know, or like low key, like you don't realize it's like making you feel like consuming certain kinds of content.
yeah
You know, or like watching certain kinds of movies or listening to certain kinds of music or talking to certain kinds of people. Even, you know, looking at certain kinds of art. Like,
yeah it can just be
yeah.
surface level, a lot of those things.
I don't even know that it needs to be like surface level. I think, because it's like, do you think propaganda is art?
Maybe from the creation side, maybe.
Yeah, it's
The
like,
person that created it has to think a certain way and express a certain thing. From the consumption side, maybe not as much. To a lesser degree, I think. No, I don't even think from the consumption side. I don't think. Yeah, like if you're just receiving it and going, okay, and not giving it any thought, like, okay, that's the truth, or that's what it is. Yeah, that's not art.
well, I think certain things are made to like create certain kinds of effects. So, you know, it's like it's being generated by craftsmen. I just may not agree with like the intention of effect that they want to have on certain individuals or groups of people. You
Yeah.
know, it's like I think that's when my judgment comes in. It's like, well, I can respect the, you know,
Sure.
the thought that you
I see
did.
the craft, or
Yeah.
I see the technique it took to get there, and I respect that
Yeah.
somebody put the time and the effort and the attention to make it this way, but it's not doing it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Or it's like, oh, I don't fuck with that. Like,
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's taken me a while to learn how to, like, even still, like, I get caught up, but it's like, take a step back and not be, like, so judgy,
Right.
you know? Because it's like, I don't want to get in the mix with it. You know, it's like, if I don't like it, like, I can keep that to myself, and then I can go make some stuff that's going to give me a better feeling.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, ingest something that's going to go give me a better feeling. But it's like, sometimes you got to call it out. But I feel like now, like, in today's culture, like, there's so much, like, rage baiting.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, it's so easy to get caught up in a cycle of, like, anger or, like, vilifying.
Yeah.
But then, time, it's like, I don't want my time to be taken up by all that, you know, like.
And your energy, yeah.
Yeah.
Your time and your energy. Yeah, that's why, and I think that's the opposite of that is losing yourself in nature.
Yeah.
To me, at least, I really think to man that really is like.
Well, I think it's like different things too. You know, it's like nature's so interesting to me because it's like, to me, it's like a bunch of intelligent, like, creatures, creating like a system or like a habitat and environment.
Yeah.
And then that environment itself has its own sort of like energy.
Becomes an entity of a broader entity of its own.
Yeah. And like what's interesting to me about nature is like a lot of it self-balances.
Oh yeah, that's what's rad.
And you know, for some people nature is survival and like savagery, you know, and blood. You know? And that's definitely part of it. It's like nature's like so many different things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was just talking about it, I think with my coworker earlier today. It's like, it's like, isn't it crazy? It's like, I was talking about it with my homie last night. It's like, we're having to play like the games of society and culture as opposed to playing the game of survival, like out in nature in the wilderness.
We've like built up such a society that we're comfortable enough to not have to play the game of survival.
Yeah.
But we still need some kind of game to play, so we make up our own.
I mean, we're still doing like survival and like, you know, quote unquote, the concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Instance, you know, but it's like, in some instances, you know, it's like we're not out there like battling the elements and battling animals and like generating food and fire and stuff like that.
Right, which we once were. And I think there's still parts within us that the visceral parts of us.
I think that's great stuff to know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I feel like it really puts like a lot of trust in yourself.
Like you could do it if you had to.
I think, no, it just gives you like a certain kind of, I'm not disagreeing, even though that's like what I'm saying in language. I feel like it gives you a certain kind of confidence to handle other stuff. Because it's like, I know how to handle like the primal shit. You know, this other stuff is nothing. Like,
I beat up that damn grizzly bear last week. I can handle this other thing. Yeah. No, grizzly bear would fuck me up.
Right. Do you feel like there's like another animal that you could like take though?
That I could take? A koala bear.
A koala?
Yeah, because they eat eucalyptus leaves and it makes them stoned. So that's why they move so slow, because they're like just stoned out of their mind all the time. I could beat a koala bear for sure.
Is their natural state like tweaker though? Like,
I don't know. That's a good question. What is their natural state if they weren't stoned off them leaves?
Are they like naturally just angry? So it's like they gotta get like,
yeah,
high?
maybe so.
And don't they have like crazy claws?
Yeah, but they're small. You could just fucking drop kick one of them. I could take. I don't know. I'm trying to think like what is the baddest animal that
The most.
I could maybe stand a chance with. Kangaroo, maybe. Even then, I don't know. That's like 50-50.
That's a bold statement. 'Cause they naturally box, don't they?
Kind of, and they have these. They can stand on their tails. So they could also like
Kick
stand on
you?
their tail and kick you. Yeah.
Fuck, that's a KO for me.
But again, there's some small kangaroos that
Oh, okay, yeah.
can just drop kick their ass too.
Yeah.
I don't know. A shark to a point.
Like a hammerhead or baby shark type deal.
If the shark was on land, then I could take the shark.
Uneven ground.
In the ocean, probably not.
Do you like think a lot about like man versus nature type shit? Like,
Yes, but I also try to think more about man within nature, like going back to the visceral things we were talking about. Like, all right, at some point we had to coexist with all these things. We weren't able to create these large societies that keep us comfortable and protected and fed and warm all the time. Before that, we had to find that within the natural world, as well as be stewards of the natural world so that these things would take care of us.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more challenging than man versus nature, because obviously at this point we could just destroy all nature if we wanted to.
Yeah.
We kind of are doing that as a happenstance of many other things we do. But I think it would be more difficult to go back into like living just amongst nature. People do it.
Oh, for sure.
People still do it. Yeah, it definitely takes different mindset.
I think like as certain technology advances, there'll be more people that just go straight off into nature and stuff like that, and there'll be communities and groups.
I think so. That is sort of I hope that about technology as technology progresses, that hopefully our means of survival come a little bit easier. Mainly, I hope that we don't have to work as much as we do to pay our bills, to survive, to put food on the table. And I think
Have you had
that
convos
should come.
about like UBI and stuff like that?
a little bit. I've listened to things about it. I haven't had a lot of conversations about it. But I do think like that's kind of a direction that technology could lead us, which then maybe gives us more free time to, again, then it'll be up to the individual, free time to get out into nature or free time to just plug into the virtual side. Maybe those are opposite ways to go.
I don't really see it as like the possibility of free time. You know, it's like time to kill. I feel like will be a lot of people's experience. You know, because it's like, what else can
They're
I
like,
do?
oh, I don't know they're bored.
Well, it's like, what else can they do?
Yeah.
You know, like personally, I feel like everybody has something to contribute and something that they're good at.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can only explore those things through the times that you like live in. You know, you only come up against those things within the adventure or like call to action, if you want to use like some Joseph Campbell type stuff.
Yeah.
Like a situation comes to you.
The hero's journey. Yeah. I like that.
But also I feel like our culture this culture that we live in doesn't really cultivate people's natural talents.
To call them out, to bring that to action.
And reintegrate that back into society.
Yeah, so then it becomes up to so say we had all this extra free time, then it becomes up to the individual to find that for themselves.
Yeah.
Or to to not, because I guess that's a challenging thing to look at yourself and think about, like, why am I here? What the fuck am I doing here?
I feel like that's a huge.
What is my purpose?
I've been there.
And it's scary. Yeah, it can be scary. So it might just be easier to tune that out and
for sure,
crush our boredom with all these
Any
other
number
things.
of things, yeah.
All the things that are not art.
Or whatever holds your interest, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
because a lot of the things that can, like, you know, distract you or take you in another direction or, like, entertain you or occupy you.
Yeah.
You know, I think some of those things are creative or art.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know?
And I guess, you know, everything in moderation. There's a time for that to be the consumer, and there's a time to be the creator.
Well, I think, like, in this stage, like, of where, like, our culture is, it's like, it's encouraged to overconsume.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's
not
easy.
just
It's so
food.
easy to do that. Yeah. With
And it's
everything.
by design to make it easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So you think going back to the purpose part?
No, I think it's
Maybe-
more like, to me, it's more about, like, balance and, like, harmony and understanding your emotions. Because it's like, I feel like trying to figure out your purpose from jump is, like, a huge question. And, like, sometimes it's, like, too overwhelming. And it's like, you know, even if you figure out your purpose, it's like trying to stay with that, you know, you could realize it's like, I need to be doing something else.
Yeah. I mean, I think a purpose could always be evolving too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think, like, conversation allows for evolution. You know, it's more like stagnant or like two-dimensional.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you find this thing, and then once you have this thing, like, everything opens up and, you know, everything flows. And I don't know that it's always that.
No, I don't think it is. I think,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I'd be pissed if that's what it was too. Like, oh, I've reached the top of the mountain. Now what? Like,
Yeah.
I've reached the pinnacle of
There's
this thing.
another
Like,
mountain.
what? That's okay. Now what do I pursue? Yeah. So maybe going back to, like, what is art. But I think maybe it's like that, a pursuit of purpose in a way that makes you express. I think it's exploration expressed. Maybe, huh?
Because I feel like, you know, art is, it's like, there's so many definitions,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
you know, and we can only talk about our own personal definitions.
Right.
So instead of trying to, like, keep it broad so we can be inclusive, like, including other people, like, we just talk about what it is for us.
Yeah, now that we got this far, I think I just said that's what it is for me, at least. I think
Exploration and,
exploration expressed, I think
I like that.
That's what it is for me, yeah. I'm glad you pulled that out of me. Thank you.
Like, no, bro, you're helping me out. Like, for real, like, before I started, because I'm treating this like a project,
Uh-huh.
and, like, I asked myself questions before I started interviewing people.
Oh, that's a good way.
And then after 30, I'm gonna answer those questions and see if, like, I've come closer to understanding.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, like, I'm trying to figure stuff out.
That's your exploration, dude.
Yeah, so it's like I want to treat this as, like, an exploration so I can just keep it, like, it's about the process instead of, like, trying to reach some sort of outcome.
Yeah.
The ideal is to have a good ass conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just like, you know, for me personally, to, like, get to that point is just to, like, get in there and see where it goes, and be cool if it's not a cool conversation. You know, they may pop up as, like, I keep talking to people. But yeah, like, definitely it's like getting more clarity about what art is for me and, you know, how it served me in my life. But then also, like, how can I use my creativity to be of service to other people?
Yeah.
So, like, that's something I wanted to ask you. Like, how does your creativity I think since we've already been talking about, I want to ask, like, how does your creativity, how do you use it as like a service to others? But first I want to know, like, how does it serve you? You know, like,
it serves me kind of how we mentioned before. If you give your hand something to do, then your mind can wander to the depths of itself, or it gives me also purpose, not like a life purpose, but purpose to translate ideas, I think. It gives me a platform of expression, not necessarily twofold, to express ideas to other people, but also to bring ideas out from within myself and then look at them from outside of myself, to kind of, how we said before, like, I don't know what this idea is until I put it on paper and then I can look at it. So I think that's a big part of what it does for me, is to, like, bring things from, whether it's within the subconscious or from, like, visceral actions, and then see it outside of myself to go, like, that's this thing that was inside of me. And your second part of that was, how does it serve other people?
How do you use it to, like, serve other people? And off top, like, I like how you said that, because it's like, sometimes I don't know what it is until it's in front of me. And
Isn't that trippy?
in art school, it's like a lot of people didn't encourage that. You know, it's like, it's more so like cerebral and then execution. Instead of the unfolding.
So figure it out before you put it on paper.
But like you said, it's like, sometimes that's not as interesting as, like, the exploration of it. And sometimes you don't know. And it's like, sometimes you don't know until you can remove it from within you and then look at it with a different perspective or a different sense. I hope that other people do that. But as for how I think it serves others, I mean, murals and sign painting, off the top of my head, I think help to, very specifically, hand-painted signs in Oceanside, California, retain an aesthetic of this community, of a classic style. So I think it serves my neighborhood by keeping character around here, rather than everything becoming homogenous. So I think murals can do the same. I think murals also serve others by offering a different perspective on familiar subjects. So we walk around, we're fortunate enough to live in this place where we walk amongst palm trees all the time. But maybe if you see a palm tree painted in a funny way, or as a subject with other subjects that don't go along with it, or something like that, you might just think of it differently. Or if it's something you have to decipher, you have to stop and interpret this thing. So I think murals and public art in general can be a way to open people's minds and generate discussions, as well as just kind of tweak their perception of things that might become mundane or monotonous. I think other mediums of art can serve people by helping them create a space or feeling for themselves. Whether it's a painting on the wall, or a screen printed hoodie that makes of a certain texture, that makes them feel a certain way when they put it on, or gives them a look, a style, or a ceramic vessel that they put in their shelf that makes their room look a certain way. I think that's a way that it serves. What do you think? How does your art serve other people? like that's something I'm trying to figure out, because it's
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm talented in multiple ways,
Yeah.
and then it's like, well, what can I do that's like best suited to like help others or like serve others, you know, partially in like trying to figure out ways of creating income for myself. Also, part of it is like I just like doing certain things, like the feeling when someone really rocks with some clothing. It's like, yo, it feels so good
For you and for them, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when someone's like, when people in the past have told me, it's like, yo, I love wearing this, or it's like, this is my favorite thing to put on when I'm making something, or like, this is like my painting hoodie or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I love stuff like that.
I had some
like,
of those. Oh shit, I'm thinking about to close up.
Cool. Well, you want to walk down to the Strand or something?
Yeah, we did.
Cool. Let's
Do you want to pause it?
yeah, let's pause it and we'll just. All right, we're back. And I can't remember exactly what we were talking. We had to move. Can't remember exactly what we were talking about before, like we came over here.
I think we were talking about how does your art serve other people?
Oh yeah, like creativity and like service to like community.
Yeah. Is that one of the things you ask?
Yeah, I was
everybody?
asking you and then you're asking me,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm still trying to figure it out.
How it serves others?
Yeah, I know it's just talking about shit I like. So
I think there's ways. Well, for one, I think your art can't serve others until you put it out there.
yeah, there's that for
You know,
sure.
there's plenty of art, for me at least, like I make a lot of stuff that people never see because I just need to get it out. Or like, I just want to experiment with something, but I feel like, it's not quite finished, so I'm not going to show it to somebody. But I think for it to serve others, you have to show it. I think I heard in, or read in, what's the Rick Rubin book called? What's the name of it?
The creative.
Creative Act.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that, he said an artwork is never complete until it is shared. So that really stuck with me as well. Like, otherwise, it's one-sided, I guess. If it's not interpreted or offered up to make somebody think or feel or whatever, then is it really complete?
Well, it's like, what about making art for yourself? You know, it's like, you ever make stuff that you don't show people?
Oh, for sure. I have a lot of it. And I do that for myself, but then maybe it's not complete. Maybe it's incomplete. I don't know.
Well, I don't take like everything in that book as like scripture.
No, for sure, yeah.
There's like a lot of good shit in that book, but it's also interesting how it's written. It's very like ethereal or like dreamy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've read it like cover to cover,
Yeah.
but trying to pull out certain things is almost like I need like a trigger to be like, oh yeah,
Like where you can be like, oh, that makes sense because this happened to me in
Yeah.
this instance.
or it's just like the nature in which it's written. I feel like trying to retrieve like some of the excerpts.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know why, but it occurs as like dreamy in my mind. Like I've read The Artist's Way and I've been rocking with that recently. And,
Oh, I've never read this.
oh, dude, I'm gonna get you a copy.
Okay.
Because they talk about like, movement being something to help with the creative flow.
yeah.
There's a whole like chapter about it.
Huh. Were you the one also talking to me about the War of Art?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have this, but I haven't even
Oh, yeah?
read it yet.
That's good too,
Somebody
because
gave
it's
it to
like, dude talks about resistance and like, you just want to decrease resistance.
Huh. Resistance, like to create?
Yeah, to being creative. I think the author is the dude who wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance or whatever that movie's called.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And he talks about being like a failed writer from his perspective for a long time. And then also trying to like, sort of like force ideas. You know, it's like you want this title. So it's like you're trying to like force things to happen so you can be the title.
So if you remove this thing, that's less resistance.
Well,
Then you can create.
I think
If it's
he
not for that reason.
gets more to like the point of like, really just focus on process. And like part of it is like there's all this resistance based on either like ideas or self-concepts, or like ideas about outcome and stuff like that. And you really just need to, like, I'm paraphrasing and I could be butchering it.
Yeah.
But it's like also just like focus on creating a process and focus on just starting the work.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of his book is just about like decreasing resistance by actions.
Hey, we must be free.
Ain't we all?
So yeah, I think those are good books. There's also like there's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I don't know if it's called like Big Ideas or something like that. Once you finish reading The Artist's Way, there's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert that's like really worth reading.
Okay.
And it just talks about ideas and like sort of the concept that there's like ideas that are good for you and like healthy, and ideas that like run you into the ground. And The Artist's Way like touches on that too. It's like, trying to create like a healthy practice for yourself, and like like really being creative, divorcing yourself from like the suffering artist stereotypes and archetypes,
Yeah, I think that's the starving artist, the suffering artist is idea that each artist probably has to himself, but also like society thinks of that as well.
Oh, for sure.
But I think it's at some stage it's kind of necessary, like to be a starving artist, or to be maybe not to be a starving artist, but some sort of suffering. A suffering artist, I think, is a better term. Like to have something to like overcome, or like we're saying, like get out from inside of you, or put it into existence, so then you can re-examine it.
Well, it's like I feel like there's like I feel like people are able to connect with pain much easier than joy, like person to person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that everybody experiences like the concept of like joy or like happiness, but people definitely like experience like anger and pain and shit like that. So it's
you
like,
think it's maybe, you don't think everybody experiences joy and happiness
no.
at all?
Yeah, I think some people have never experienced like joy.
I think we all do, but in different ways. Whereas maybe pain, we have more common denominators, more common experiences of pain. Whereas joy and happiness we might experience in many different ways. Or do you think that it's a certain level that sometimes people don't achieve joy?
Yeah, I think sometimes people just don't achieve it or like experience it in their life, or it's like they've had it in a moment and then they have certain experiences in life and then they think that's how life occurs. It's like I feel like there's certain phrases and things that you say, like you speak out, and then like that's how life occurs for you. It's like a lot of life is a jungle or something. Life is dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Dog eat dog.
And then it occurs that way for you.
Yeah,
That's
it
your
occurs
kind
for
of
them.
mantra. Yeah.
So like, to me, like I try to be mindful of like if I'm saying those kinds of things or like where I'm saying those kinds of things. Because there's like certain things I'm trying to let go of, and like I want to experience life in new ways.
Yeah.
And I think understanding myself and what I enjoy like helps me let go of the things that like don't serve me as much.
Sure.
Or like prioritizing, I can't even say it, like putting at the forefront like what's important. Yeah, because it's like I think I spent a lot of time like trying to grind and make stuff to like get to like a certain level in like my art career.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen that way. And then it's like, well, you know, it's like I sacrificed like a lot of life living in order to like do this thing. And like I was, you know, suffering through that. And like now in hindsight, it's like I didn't even need to go about it that way. Like, you know, like I could have taken a different approach. And I feel like all of those things I experienced are valuable.
Yeah.
You know? And like they'll benefit me, and it helps me understand now like how I want to truly live life, you know, and to not also like hide from living life, or like there are certain things I have to be responsible for to be healthier.
For sure.
Yeah. But just like operating out of imbalance and then wondering why like things aren't working out. You know, it's because it's like, you know, it's a reflection of how I feel. And I can't blame my art for, you know, things happening in my life a certain way. You know, because there's more to living than just creating fine art.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you can use that. You can use the things happening. You can use that in your art. But I think maybe what you're saying is like not to let your art impede other things that could happen, good or bad.
Yeah.
Or like just, yeah.
Well,
Get out of your own way at sometimes.
Yeah. Definitely getting in my own way.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to do things a certain way. And not having like the realization that it's like, oh, I could do this differently and I would enjoy it better.
Yeah.
You know? Or it's like, I don't have to sacrifice these things in terms of like living. You know, it's just that I haven't used my imagination to think of a way where it's like it can work together, like in harmony.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started seeing like, I'm actually like grateful for YouTube and like listening to other artists talk about living their lives and through YouTube, because even though I don't know who they really are, like I can see that you can have a more dynamic life as a creative.
Outside of just creating whatever you're creating all the
outside of
time.
like the previous conceived notions I had of what it meant to be like a successful professional creative.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you think it means now to be successful as an artist?
That's a great question. Because it's like, you know, I'm definitely in search of having an occupation, like a vocation that's lucrative and fun.
Right.
And it's like I'm trying to understand what's the bare minimum that I need to do creatively to be functional and have satisfaction in my life. But I think now it's like, you know, like being able to have people in my life is part of what success means for me.
Yeah.
Having the right kind of people in my life that I can celebrate any sort of victories, you know, because I feel like being creative you can self-isolate a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And the print shop was like it was interesting to me because it was like a nexus or like node of where I could be around other creatives and we could make stuff.
Yeah.
So like community, like, and I never experienced this, but like ceramics, I also feel like that's another space where it's like you can be creative with a group of people.
Yep. Yeah, that's part of the cool thing about working in a shared studio space.
Yeah.
Is you can be creative, you can see what other people are doing, you can take inspiration from them, you can learn from them, or like see new ideas come up. But also, I understand I mean, just like you said before, you want to balance everything, and I think there are times to be solitary and create in isolation. Maybe the art looks different in that setting. But yeah, finding that balance of both. I think for me, success is that balance.
To put it in simplest terms for me, like being able to be creative, have people in my life, and live life and support myself.
Through your creativity, or what if it's like two separate things?
You know, like, I understand that I'm good at like a lot of different stuff. And my thing is like, I'm tired of like struggling and just finances. You know, I grew up through, my parents were artists, and it's like I grew up with starving artists.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I realized it's like, hey, like, we don't need to be like starving artists as a family. But it's like, they weren't really open to ideas that I had. You know, because also it's like, let's say you're running a business. You don't want to take advice from someone who doesn't own a business.
Sure, yeah.
You know? It's like, when you're a parent, you know, you don't want to take advice from the kid because they don't know what it's like to be a parent.
You ain't been a parent before.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, it's like, there's certain, I'm not opposed to like challenge, you know, or having things I have to work through in life. But there's certain things like I just don't want to like struggle with anymore. Like there's just things I want to let go from childhood.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I want to be, I want to take care of myself in that way.
And not have to worry about that aspect and have.
Yeah.
I think stability gives you a little more freedom to create.
Yeah. I need a certain amount of stability, and I need to create that for myself. So like having a certain kinds of stability in different areas is part of success for me.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think without some reasonable stability, then you're either putting too much pressure on the artwork to eventually blow up and make it big, or you're not able to focus enough time on the artwork to express like what's genuinely inside of you. Whereas you might appease it so it sells, you know, make an appeasing artwork so that it sells to pay your rent this month or something like that. But I think if you can get to a point of stability, and for me it's partially through art, but it's also partially like I work a part-time job, and that part-time job gives me stability to have more creative freedom in my artwork, which I found has made a big difference. But the flip side of that, like I did for a little while, I did just try to make a living solely off of my art, and you know, I'm still here. I didn't die, but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it was unsuccessful because it led me to where I am now. It taught me things, but it did kind of make me maybe do some things artistically that paid the bills but weren't necessarily like satisfying to my soul. So I think to piggyback off what you're saying, I think part of the success is stability to give you freedom to create, and then using that freedom, like rather than just falling into the comfortable stability, the comfortable state of like things are taken care of.
Yeah. Like I felt like a lot of what I'm trying to do now is create space for myself. You know, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to, you know, make things to sell, and then they wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
And then I'm upset.
Right.
So I'm creating like this cycle of like emotion. And like, you know, that's like in my body too. And in a way that's sort of like, for me, it was stagnating the evolution of the art. You know? And it's like now I got 9 to 5 and I've been working a 9 to 5. Like 9 to 5 is not an easy thing for me to do.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Like keeping a schedule is something that's hard for me to do.
Yeah.
Like I actually like being like more spontaneous.
Me too.
Like, yeah. But now I'm like learning how to really like make a calendar type shit. And also having that calendar work with who I am. So make it loose.
Yeah.
You know?
So you can still have room for spontaneity.
You know, to the best of what I got to work with right now, you know? But yeah, to work with spontaneity. It's like, one thing I like about having a 9 to 5, even though sometimes in certain ways, because I feel like what's up is like, I haven't like explored the ideas of like what a 9 to 5 could be for me. You know, because I'm still operating on other people's ideas of what a 9 to 5 is. You know, it's like, yeah, I feel like not a full expression of myself in my current like 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But what it does is it allows me to pay the bills and feed myself, and then also create enough space for myself that within a certain realm, I get to say what's up.
Right, so you don't have to, you know, the bills are paid, and then that's off your mind when it comes time to have the space to create.
Yeah. And it's like, there are other things too, because it's like, you know, I'm friends with younger homies who are like creatives and stuff like that. And like, you know, they stay with their parents, and also like being out in California, like I'm not a California native. Like real estate is different, and acquiring space is different.
For sure.
And also, like, people's relationship to the mindset of acquiring space is different.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I understand, like, what they're going through to a degree because I've been there. Yep. You know, like, when I was younger. But also, it's just like, when you're living with family, it's like it may give you freedom in one aspect, but then some of your freedom is restricted in other aspects.
Yep.
And it's like something I'm trying to figure out for myself is like, you know, living with my family or my mom and my stepfather who are creatives, you know, that environment was designed to like encourage creativity to a certain extent. I don't think it was like specifically tuned to maximize my creativity, but it was an environment designed to help, you know, encourage creativity. And now that I'm like far away from that, you know, like that's in another state, you know, like I'm definitely trying to understand like what's the bare minimum for me in terms of space, and how do I curate that space so like I can create what I want to create. Like how do I create an environment for myself to be free and be creative?
Meaning like the physical space as well as the time, like the schedule that you're talking about?
Yeah, not only do I think it's like a dimension of time and physical, but also it's like a dimension of like emotions and energy.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Like I was just talking about physical.
Yeah.
But you know, since you brought it up, like I decided to expand. And I'm curious, like, how do you make that for yourself? Like, how do you design your own space? Because it's like when I first met you, you had this killer studio. It was so cool. Like it was some shit out of like a movie.
right? And that was a dream space for sure. Like I never even dreamt to have a space like that,
Yeah.
but it was like a dream realized as it happened. And then when I lost that space, I sort of thought that I needed another one like it in order to continue to create, period. To create at all. And then I put a lot of my energy in trying to find that new space. And then I didn't, but along the way I was like finding other spaces in which to create. Sometimes it was the concrete walls on the train tracks.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was painting in a restaurant or something like that. I found the ceramic studio later on. So I kind of realized that it's yeah, like we touched on before, work with what you got, work with what's in front of you, and if you can be adaptable in ways to express those ideas, then I think the physical space at least is less important. Granted, it can I don't want to say dictate how your work comes out, but it can greatly affect the work that you make, the physical space. But as we talk about it in a more multi-dimensional sense, the mental space and the time space as well are things you can control. So when maybe you can't find that dream physical space, you can control to an extent the time you allot to pursuing your practice. You can somewhat control the mental space. So yeah, I think there's all of those dimensions of it.
I like that you use the word adaptability. Like that's something I'm gonna take from this conversation, because it's like previously I was telling the homies, like learning to think of myself as like I am the studio. You know, it's like, because like
studio is wherever I go.
But like you said, I feel like you phrased it well, like learning to take the ideas and adapt the ideas to what you have to work with.
Yeah, to what's in front of you.
And because like, have you ever, I feel like I got out of touch with the idea of evolving the art. Have you ever felt like that sort of stagnation or like drift, like in your own practice?
Yeah, for sure. And I think maybe that's also part of the reason that I jump around in different mediums, because I do feel sometimes I'll reach a point where like, okay, now I'm just doing the same thing, and I know where this is headed, and it's not fun if I know what this is gonna be, like if I'm just doing the same shit. So let me try to learn something completely different, and then take that to a level, and then either fold that back into this, or maybe by going and learning this other thing, it can spark an idea. I think, just when you reach stagnation, being able to recognize that within yourself, and then step away from it for, however long it takes, or take your attention to something else, and then come back to it with fresh eyes, new ideas. And so for me at least, I think the evolution is always going to involve multiple mediums influencing the other mediums. Sometimes maybe the mediums will come together and be mixed media, but also maybe it will just be just ceramics, but they will be inspired by this thing I did in a painting. So I think those things will always overlap, and I think that's how I will never cease to evolve. And if I do, then I just die right there. That's the end.
You think so?
If you're ceasing to evolve, you just
I don't think about it like that. Like, it's not like black and white for me. Like, because I feel like because there's been periods where it's like I can't make anything, and that was really rough for me. And that's been something like I experienced within like the past 10 years. And I never thought that was going to happen.
Huh.
But then it happens, and then I've learned slowly, like with time, like how to move past it, like move through that phase. But like at the beginning of it, you know, it's like, what's gonna happen, and that was really scary. Cause for me, like when I discovered, cause I was always creative, but then when I started making like visual art, it was like something special. I was like, I can take this with me wherever.
Yeah.
And you know, this will always be mine.
Right.
But then when I had those moments where like I couldn't make anything, it like brought up all my old shit. And it's like, well, what do I do if I can't do this thing anymore?
Who am I now? Yeah. That's part of your identity, kind of. I've had that where, and I've like, or more so like I've had moments where I've just straight up quit, not for a real long time, but where I'm like, fuck this, like this is stupid, this is pointless. You know, what am I doing? Making some shiny shit so somebody can hang it on their wall. This is so stupid, and like, this is dumb. I'm gonna go ride my bike for the next 3 months, or like something like that. Like, I just get mad and completely walk away from it. But if it's in you, it's in us. It's always gonna like. I think it's always gonna creep out in some other form, and if you're adaptable, then it might creep out in a different medium or a different act of expression.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like going back to that word adaptability.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's so many instances where it's like I've had this rigidness about like how to direct the creativity, you know, like how to be. You know, at first it was like when I got into visual art, it's like I'm a print maker. You know, it's like I just want to focus on printing, and you know, in hindsight it still makes sense to me, because I think I knew, like in the back of my head, like I would only have access to this gear for a certain amount of time.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I want to learn, like, or enjoy the experience of using this gear in this way. But then not having the gear anymore, it's like, who am I?
Yeah.
And it's like,
what do I do with all this knowledge that I accumulated as well, and these techniques? But if you don't have the equipment, you pivot, I guess. So how did you pivot?
I started painting. And you know, like I like those paintings that I made. I think, you know, that was like post-college. So I started working in different art studios.
And were you painting because that was like the most accessible next medium?
Yeah, like I already had the stuff.
Yep.
You know, and and then painting slowly led to screen printing, and then I taught myself screen printing.
Yeah, I think painting is maybe the most accessible form, because you don't.
I think drawing is.
True. Yeah, that's more accessible. You're right, because you can do that on an even smaller scale, and you can use just one single pencil or pen and paper, which is pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think I learned like my most accessible mediums were drawing, but it took me, like I'm still, you know, understanding.
Yeah.
You know, and collage.
Yeah.
Photography and painting were like the most accessible. I can do these, you know, type of things. And it took like a second for me to understand that. Like,
I think having all of those mediums, all those understanding, enough understanding to use each of those mediums makes you adaptable to be able to create in whatever physical space or whatever place you are. Like I know, like I used to travel for a long time, and photography was the thing that was, photography and drawing are the easiest things to take with you. A camera is relatively small. Painting maybe not so much easy to travel with,
Right.
but you can kind of bring those things with you. And then painting, you need a little more setup. Collage, maybe you need a little bit more as well.
You need a certain amount of space.
Yeah. I think that wave just blasted them.
Yeah, that kid got hit by the wave. Yeah, so it's like you're always jumping from medium to medium, you know, just as like exploration. But like something I'm curious about, it's like, is there anything that you're trying to like, are there any particular ideas that you're trying to explore like at the moment that you would feel comfortable talking about?
We talked a little before about the contrast between man and nature. I think you said that's something you're often examining as well.
Yeah.
That's always, I think that's a prevalent theme for years, and it took me a little while to realize that's what I was exploring, but now I realize it, and I'm always looking at that. Otherwise, I don't know. I will say in ceramics right now, I'm trying to push creating vessels that straddle a line between functional forms and abstract art.
Okay.
So that's kind of an idea, I suppose, or a concept or a direction that I'm looking to do. Like, I don't care that much about their function, but I just like blurring the lines between two concepts. So maybe that's the thing with the man and nature too. In my paintings, I think a lot of that examines man and nature and blurring the line while also juxtaposing subjects right next to each other. I don't know if there's idea-wise or philosophy-wise, I don't know that I necessarily express philosophies in my work, but there are philosophies I think about while I'm creating. So maybe later on I'll realize like, oh, this came through in that sense.
Like what kind of philosophy?
A lot of times, like things I read or listen to and I'll think about for a long time, like time, like how we perceive time. And like, does anything really end? I think infinity. I'm more likely to believe in infinity than that there's an actual end to anything.
Really?
I also think time is not as solid of a construct as we've made it to be.
Yeah.
And I think that on Earth, I don't know about the rest of the galaxy, but even just on Earth alone, we're living in many different time periods.
Oh yeah.
Based on physical location.
Yeah, like I'm definitely of the belief personally, like everybody is experiencing like the world differently.
Oh yeah.
But like, because you've traveled a lot, do you feel like your experience of time has changed depended on where you've been, like in the world? Like, have you experienced
perception of time, I think, or like, yeah, I mean, you've heard of like island time. People are always late. They run on island time. Like things are a little bit slower. They're not as punctual. I think in more developed countries where we have more technology that enables us to do things faster, we're expected, maybe not even expected, but we do more things in a day because we have the tools to do more. So therefore, time kind of goes faster in a day, and then if you add that up in a year, we've done way more, we've accomplished more, like maybe not accomplished, but done more, taken more actions than we could have if we lived in a place that didn't have technology that enabled us to act at such a pace. So in that sense, maybe that country is living like a little bit in the past, and you go visit that country, it's like traveling back in time.
Yeah.
If you think of it that way, whereas we think you just get in a time machine and go back to Oceanside, California in 1970 and see what that like.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different concept of time travel, but I think physical travel on Earth is a way to travel in times as well.
I definitely feel like my experience in Cali has been like, it's helped me. I have no idea what it's like to experience certain times because I wasn't alive then.
Yeah, we can
But
just
it helps
speculate.
me speculate like what certain times were like.
Yeah.
I feel like California is tied to very specific times.
Yeah,
And it sort of like wears that on the sleeve for anyone who wants to talk about it.
right.
So it's been very interesting in my experience of living here. But like you said, like, going and living in certain places, it's like, oh, like you feel like tied to older times for sure. And I think it's really interesting, like, sort of like going into nature. It's like sometimes you tap into like a tradition or like a culture or like a place, and it has you feel like a certain idea or connection to like a previous point in like humanity's history.
Yeah.
And that can be cool or that can be not cool.
Yeah, it could be scary.
Do you have like any specific like instances of like when you maybe like picked up on something? You're like, oh, that's interesting. Like,
As far as like time experiences?
yeah, like in your own travels, like any connections or like observations you may have like experienced?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to get a little more specific in that concept, some places like time just moves slower and you have to adjust yourself to the pace of things, such as it might take you way longer to get somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
So just getting from here to the market to buy some bread for dinner is going to be like half of your day or something like that. And so like your whole mission this day is to make a dinner. You're not going to go to work, go to the gym, get a surf in, and then go home and make dinner real quick because then go home and fucking order dinner on your phone and it's all going to be there. No, your mission that day might be to go source these ingredients to make dinner that night. So yeah, I've lived in some places where that's a little bit extreme. Maybe not where my whole day revolved around dinner, but to a lesser extent, like just less things to focus on because I know I can't do as much in a day, so I don't expect myself to do as much in a day, and then just take things a little bit slower, and I think you observe more along the way.
I like that. Yeah, it's like sort of like certain situations like give you different perspective, and it's like in one environment you may be hyper focused on doing certain things or achieving certain things, but then in other environments it strips it down, and then you're like, oh, like this is basic shit that
back to instinctual or survival shit. One time this is kind of related, but a specific story, if you're looking for like a travel story, this one just came to mind. That I lived in Taiwan for a little while, and I was teaching a surf lesson. I lived in this little beach town, and there was a dog in the ocean that looked like it was drowning.
Oh shit.
In the middle of this surf lesson, Unfortunately, I had like someone else helping me teach the surf lesson to a group of maybe 10 people. And I was like, oh shit, hold on. Like, hey kid, give me your board. I'm gonna go save this dog because this dog's drowning. So the kid's like, okay. And I go paddle out on his board and I get out to the dog and it's like almost screaming. It's like, ee, ee, like making this weird noise. And as I got closer, I realized it wasn't a dog. I thought it was a goat. And I got even closer and it wasn't a goat. It was a deer. It was a small deer.
In the ocean?
In the ocean.
That's wild.
And I tried to put the deer on the surfboard and paddle in, and it kept jumping off. It was scared of me, but it was like getting caught in this current. Eventually, somehow I got it on the board and I paddled it in. And when we got into the beach, I held it in my arms like pretty tight because I could feel like his heart was beating like he was about to explode, and like I thought he was going to turn around and go right back into the ocean. So I was trying to like hold him on the land to get him like calm down for a minute and catch his breath.
Yeah.
And then he got away and he started to run towards the mountain. The mountain was really close to the beach, and I suspect that he came down from the mountain. I did some research later. These types of deer like salt, so maybe he came down from the mountain to like lick salt off the rocks on the beach.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just my speculation.
The wave scooped him up and took him out?
I think so. Or what happened next could be the other thing. When he eventually got away, he got out of my grasp and ran towards the mountain across the beach. But before he made it up to the mountain, this pack of stray dogs started chasing him.
Oh shit.
And some of the dogs were bigger than this deer was.
Yeah.
And we started like trying to get the dogs out of there and like throwing rocks at them, but eventually they all got too far away and they're too fast, and I didn't know what happened. So like maybe in the first place, maybe he was running away from the dogs in the first place and just jumped in the ocean that way. But then the next day we found the deer dead on the beach.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So maybe I meddled where I shouldn't have, and maybe this deer was gonna swim. There was an island out there, like long ass swim. I don't think the deer actually could have made it, but maybe he would have. Maybe he would have swam to the island and where there's no stray dogs and been just fine. Maybe I didn't save his life. Maybe I just gave him back to these dogs to kill him.
That's like a hard thing to like, it's like you could spend so much time thinking about the different scenarios and possibilities.
Right?
But ultimately, it's like, it is what it is in this moment.
Yep.
Like, the time has passed. And it's still mysterious. Like, it's mysterious as to how the deer got out there.
Yep.
And it's mysterious as to how the deer died.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he was like torn up by the dogs, but maybe he died of a damn heart attack. Who knows?
For real.
But I say all that because it like kind of touches back on when you strip time, when you're in a place where time slows down, and then you take everything back to like instinctual survival stuff, and like back to nature, back to just the important stuff, living and dying, and not the little things that we tend to add up because we can do more things in a day and we can live at a faster pace.
Like, it makes me want to ask two questions. Like, I feel like now we're just getting into like the meat of the podcast. So like, if you're interested, I'd like to have you back on.
I mean, if you want to talk more travel stories, I can go for hours.
I want to I would love to.
Yeah, I have a lot more.
But just for like this, like, there's two things. It's like, one, it's like, it doesn't seem like you're a big control person, but I don't know what like your inner world is like. How do you like?
I wash my dishes. I control some things, but I also, dude, if you're flexible about stuff, I heard this quote that said, "Blessed are the flexible, for they will never get bent out of shape." So I think releasing control and being open to things that are out of your control are, you won't, if you have fewer expectations, you won't, less likely that you won't meet those expectations. You know,
Yeah.
but you got to be adaptable and just roll with those things. So yeah, I don't think I'm a very controlling, except for a few things, and it's mostly like within my apartment.
Yeah. So like, sort of your mindset helps you. I don't want to even use the word surrender. Like helps you.
Yeah, surrender. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say surrender. Like surrender to surrender to the unexpected, and be okay with that. I think
Yeah.
makes things more digestible, like less. You don't get shook as much.
Yeah, I like that. The other thing I want to ask you is like, you just seem so naturally stoked.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, we could have been alive under so many different worse circumstances in such terrible places. Not even just on Earth. We could have just like been a freaking little bacteria on Mars, and our world is just, we only have, I don't even know what kind of senses bacteria has, but you know, we are so fortunate to have 5 senses and have feet that take us places, and then there's so much cool stuff around to explore and discover. I can't not be stoked.
Yeah, that's dope. That's beautiful. Man, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Like, I want you to come back on. I want to chop it up some more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where can people find you online? Like, do you have multiple ways?
I would say Instagram is, I have a website, mikesmack.com.
Cool.
Some of my artwork is on there. You can get in touch with me through there. Instagram is going to be the most, I suppose, updated or direct means of communication.
Dope. And what's Mike Smack is your Instagram too?
That's my actual name, at ms.perp.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it's a story for another time why that's my name, but it's my initials, MS, Mike Smack, .PERP.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming on. I
Dude,
appreciate it.
thanks for having me, Taylor.
Dope.
It's
And then
fun.
you'll come back on, dude. It'll be
Yeah,
dope.
we'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.